Take a moment and imagine this. You want to thank Hashem for something that He gave you or something He did for you. So you go to the Beis Hamikdash and you bring a korban, a sacrifice. You spend time selecting the animal, making sure that there's no blemishes. Then you take it to get shechted, slaughtered. It gets put on the mizbeach, and the smoke rises to Hashem. And you see Hashem is really enjoying it as the smoke is rising really fast. How beautiful is this opportunity? But nowadays, what do we have? What can we do for Hashem? We can't bring kabbonos anymore to show Hashem how much we love Him or how thankful we are to Him. How can we ask Him even for forgiveness? Moshe was the king's advisor, and he did a great job at that. The country was hopeless in all areas, from its wealth to its name. That's why Moshe, the king's new advisor, was hired. He was going to change things around the country. And he did just this. He taught all the poor people professions, and he cared for everyone that spoke to him. After a few years, the country's name was known by all. It was extremely wealthy thanks to Moshe. The king made a big party for all the respectable people from all over the world. At the party, whilst everyone was drunk, the king was asked, "How has this country become so successful?" To which he replied, "It's Moshe. He works miracles." These people saw this as a money-making opportunity. They asked, "He could do anything?" The king replied, "Yeah, of course." So whilst the king was drunk, they made a deal that if Moshe managed to make a baby bear daven, like the Jews daven, they would give him £1 billion. If he didn't manage to, the king would have to give them £1 billion. The fate would be decided at another party in 3 weeks. After they all left, the king excitedly called Moshe and says, "Moshe, I'm going to be rich," telling him all about the deal. That day Moshe walked out of the king's palace crying. He knew he couldn't do it. It wasn't possible to make a bear daven. He went home, broken, and he told his wife all about it. The next few days he spent extra time with his family because he knew his life was over. As he was sitting with his family around the table one day, and they had finished eating, they started to bench, and this time with a lot of extra kavanah. Even his baby, who was 2, was moving her lips as if she was benching. That's when his wife said, "I have a great idea," and they put the plan to action. Moshe got a plastic covered siddur and a cage for the baby bear. Over the next week, he taught the bear to eat honey from in between 2 wooden blocks, and after 3 weeks, the bear was turning the pages of the siddur, licking the honey that was placed in each page. As the bear licked the honey, he mumbled noise of enjoyment, which sounded exactly like davening. So the day came when all the respectable people came back to make a lot of money and see the king make a fool of himself. At the end of the party, after everyone had drunk and ate plenty, Moshe was called in together with the bear. He sat the bear down in front of the siddur, and the bear started turning the pages and making noises. And no one could see the honey that he was licking, and to everyone it sounded just as if the bear was davening. Needless to say, the king made his money and Moshe was rewarded immensely. Besides for that, Moshe promised never to mumble his davening again. The Mechaber in Orach Chaim says, nowadays we have tefillah instead of kabbonos. Whatever applied when one would bring a korban, applies when we daven. For example, our kavanah, the place we daven, and even the clothing that we wear. Even more so, the Gemara in Brachos says that tefillah is even greater than kabbonos. How lucky are we that we are able to daven to Hashem? In this week's parsha, when it talks about bringing a korban, it says, "Adam ki yakriv michem korban." When a person brings a korban, and everyone asks, why does it say michem? From you, we already said when a person brings a korban. The Barbanel says it's teaching us that a person has to bring it from oneself, not because he has to, but because he wants to. And with this, they'll be able to get close to Hashem. This is the same with tefillah. We should daven to Hashem because we want to daven to Him, because we want to build our relationship with Him, and not because we have to. This will help us get closer in our relationship with Him. So when we get to shul and have the opportunity to daven, let's take it as an opportunity rather than an obligation. And let's make our tefillahs meaningful. Let's not waste the approximate 520 hours we anyway spend davening every year, and let's make it meaningful and powerful to ourselves. Have an awesome Shabbos.